Salesforce announced last week it'll buy Slack for more than $27 billion in cash and stock. This gives the corporate software giant a popular place communications platform in one of the biggest technology deals of the year. Bloomberg's Emily Chang spoke to Slack CEO Stewart Butterfield to discuss the deal.
The key message here is that there is an opportunity for something that's non-linear. It's not just, we have some software, they have a lot of salespeople, we're going to plug in and they're going to sell more software, although, of course, we will also do that. They're incredibly strong leader in CRM, and I mean that in the broad sense, in customer success, in marketing and support. And that's usually the core of any company's operations. We're wall-to-wall on the communication. And you put those two together, there's an opportunity to create workflows and productivity improvements and simplifying people's work, but ultimately making organizations more effective, more aligned. And I think there's a really unique synergy between the two companies.
Who will you be reporting to, Benioff or Brett Taylor, the COO of Salesforce? Mark told me that it's up to Brett to decide.
I assume it is up to Brett to decide. I don't know. I mean, the important thing from my perspective, certainly from our employees' perspective, and probably from our customers' perspective, is I am and will remain the CEO of Slack.
Will you become one of Salesforce's presidents?
I believe so.
All right. So look, Slack is a beloved product. You and I have had many conversations since everybody started working from home. That said, since the direct listing, the stock has languished compared to other, quote unquote, work from home stocks. I know that you're trained to tell me that you don't think about that, but I'm curious how much that weighed on you and if that played into this deal at all.
No, I mean, so of course I do. I notice, but I don't think it played into this deal at all. I think one thing that might have gotten lost because we announced our earnings, Salesforce announced their earnings, and we announced the deal all at the same time. So there's a lot of information. Is we just came out of an incredible quarter. We grew net new paid customers by 140%, added 12,000 new customers this quarter, and that's the heart of the business. That leads to the future billings, which lead to the future revenue. So we're really pleased with the growth. Part of that is an increase in awareness or the utility of the product, I guess, as a digital HQ in a world where physical HQs are less well used. And that's coming from the pandemic and the working from home. But a lot of it is also just improvements to our new user experience, getting better at helping people understand Slack and helping them get started. But the big source of that is Slack Connect. So that's the ability for two Slack using organizations to communicate across organizational boundaries. The last 4 quarters of growth there, 140%, 160%, 200%, 240%. So as it's scaling up to now over 500,000 connected endpoints, the growth is increasing. And the last thing I would say about that is it's incredible opportunity to work on the next generation of CRM applications when you can work across organizational boundaries.
Now, what do you make of the narrative that this deal was done because of increasing competition and increasing threat from Microsoft, that they were starting to beat you and customers, and that the perhaps smartest way forward was a tie-up with another giant?
I think that narrative will eventually be dispelled. Personally, I'm sick of talking about Microsoft, so I'm going to take it from a slightly different angle here. So just looking at the US, and to be clear, we have a very strong business worldwide. Japan's our number 2 market, growing very quickly. UK and Europe, all very strong. But just looking at the US, biggest telco, wall-to-wall on Slack. Largest media company, wall-to-wall on Slack. I have to look at my notes here because there's so many here. The largest issuer of credit cards, wall-to-wall on Slack. The biggest in consumer electronics, wall-to-wall on Slack. The leading retailer, wall-to-wall on Slack. Number 1 in apparel, wall-to-wall on Slack. And you zoom out from that, it's 2/3 of the Fortune 100. It's 3 of the 5 biggest companies in the US by revenue are customers. Operator of the nation's largest integrated healthcare system. 4 of the 6 biggest telcos. I mean, I could just go on this list forever. So, I've given up on trying to point people to the empirical facts here because there's an article of faith about the competition that I'm unable to overcome.
That was Slack CEO Stewart Butterfield with Bloomberg's Emily Chang.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quicktake now for insight in an instant.